Hello friends, good morning. I hope you're okay. It's getting really cold now. In the previous class, we had touched the topics of fundamental rights, and we have actually learned something and little bit about right to equality. But today we are going to learn the first two rights, right to equality and right to freedom. About right to equality, we will actually revise it because we have done it already. But as I said, that I will go through again. So let's start the class. So first right that we are going to learn today is the right to equality. It is given by Article 14. And what does Article 14 say? Article 14 says that the state shall not deny to any person equality before law or the equal protection of the laws within the territory of India. This provision confers to the rights on all persons, whether citizens or foreigners. Important keywords here are equal protection of laws and equality before law, these two words. And you can also remember that this is for everyone. It's not like if there is someone from some other country, we are going to treat him differently. Is just as equal as we are. So yes, the two things here: equality before law. First learn this. Equality before law means that the absence of any special privilege in favor of any person. Everyone will get same treatment. There will be no special treatment for any person or any group of persons. That is the first thing about equality before law. This is what equality before law means, that there will be no special treatment for anyone. Second, the equal subjection of all persons to the ordinary law. There will be no different law for different society. You know, in if you remember in the colonial time, the Britishers, the colonial masters, if they committed the same crime as the Indian people, there the norms and the some kind of punishment was relaxed toward them, while the same crime would attract huge punishment for Indians. So that thing has been done away with. There will be equal subjection. Everyone will be treated by the same law, and no person is above the law. What does this mean? This means that the law is the king of the king. There is no one above the law. Even that person who's making the law, even he is not above the law. Law is supreme. Okay, the second point here is the equal protection of law. What does this mean? This means the equality of treatment under equal circumstances, both in the privilege conferred and liabilities imposed by the law. If the same persons, two persons, are doing the same good thing, they will be rewarded equally, and if they are doing the same bad thing or committing the same crime, they will be punished equally. Okay, second thing, the similar application of the same laws to all persons who are similarly situated. If two persons are in a similar situation, is basically the first thing. In other words, the two persons are in a situation that is similar, the same laws will be applied to them. Third is the like should be treated alike without any discrimination. Two persons who are doing the same thing, they will be treated without any discrimination. Basically the same thing said in three different kind of words. Now, the concept of equality before law is an element of the concept of rule of law. What do you understand by this equality before law, equal protection of law? This means that in the reality, who is ruling the country, who is ruling the state? It's the law. It's the law is supreme. So equality before law means that in our country, law is supreme, the rules are framed by law, and rule of law prevails in India. So in Article 15, it's still right to equality. It's not just simply equality before law. There has to be other equalities as well in order to make an overall development of a person's character and the nation as well. So Article 15 says the prohibition of discrimination on certain grounds. The state shall not discriminate against any citizen on grounds only of religion, race, caste, gender, or place of birth. Is self-explanatory, but you can understand that in any kind of matter, the government, the state will never discriminate on the basis of if someone from different religion or different race or caste or gender or place of birth, there will be no discrimination. Everyone will be treated equally. Second, equality, the Article 16. The equality of opportunity in public employment. The public offices are open for everyone. Every citizen of India is free to compete. Test, you can just go and clear the test and you will get the job. And public employment is completely open for everyone. There is equality. It's not like only a person from special caste or special class or special race will be entertained first. No, everyone is equal. 17, abolition of untouchability. I believe that you guys remember in ancient India or in medieval times there was this a shameful practice of untouchability against certain people, certain group of people, but that was a blot on Indian character and it had been done away with. Now everyone is equal, and if anyone is found practicing untouchability, it is it is a crime now. Okay, and it will attract punishment. So abolition of untouchability in itself is a right. Article 18 says the abolition of titles except military or academic distinction. In the colonial times, remember, in that time there were people having some kind of titles like Rai Bahadur or Rai Sahab, kind of these things, Sahab or something. So showing some kind of distinction that they are superior than the others. I am Sahab, but then other people are just simple, they will be called by their names. Okay, so that was showing some kind of discrimination, some kind of superiority. But since we have the rule of law and everyone is equal before the law, so such titles have been abolished. You cannot have such title, and even if such cases, some cases when it is allowed, then the President of India will allow specifically. But there are two types of titles allowed: military and academic. Now you need to understand the essence behind them. Look, first we learned about the equality before law. Now look what they're trying to say. They're trying to say that there will be no discrimination on certain grounds. You understand that? On the same grounds, you cannot be discriminated in the matters of public employment. What do they mean by abolition of untouchability? That certain people who were treated very badly, very bad in ancient time and medieval times, this is protection of them. And this thing, abolition of titles, this again tries to say that everyone is equal and you cannot just acquire a title by yourself and start having this feeling of superiority. Okay, so abolition of titles. So this basically trying to tell and trying to make sure that everyone feels as much equal as can to protect that integrity. Okay, they are trying to show that every person is special in itself and every person is equal. You cannot have this superior inferior grounds. Now the right to freedom. This is something that you may have learned multiple times in your school education, but today we are going to learn them in a little different way, trying to understand it. First is the right of speech and expression. In Article 19 we have 6 freedoms, and this is 19.1, and this is freedom of speech and expression. You are free to say what you want to say. That doesn't mean you can just say anything that may be not very morally good, using certain words that are not thought of such civilized society. So you cannot just go and say anything, but within the terms, within keeping the morals, you are free to say, free to express your, even if you are not in agreement with something, you are free to express your disagreement. You are free to criticize the government's policy if you want to. Okay, that is the right. If somebody criticize the government, that does not make him somehow a bad person. You have a right. You can criticize the government. You have, this is a fundamental right. This is the right of the right. This is a superior right. You have a thought of expression. You have speech and expression freedom. Now, right to assemble free, peacefully and without arms. What does this mean? This means that people can get together, and even if they want to protest against something, they can do that too. But there are two conditions. First of all, the protest should be peaceful. Second, you should not be carrying any arms. I mean, this means if you are carrying arms and you are a group of people, that is a mob. That is something that can go violent. So you cannot carry arms and you have to be peaceful. Then you can assemble, and even if you want to protest against something, you're free to do that too. Third is right to form associations or unions or cooperative societies. This also includes the forming of political parties. So people can get together, they can form associations, societies, cooperative societies, or trade unions. There are you might have heard about trade unions. Sometimes in the news that trade unions are, or some other kind of factory unions are calling for a hartal or something, lockdown, those kind of things. So you are free to have and form such kind of association. This also means that you can exit from association, or you can just completely say no to be a member of any association. That's completely up to you. Now, right to move freely throughout the territory of India. This is something we might have heard since like earliest time of your life. Like right to move freely, you can go anywhere in the country you want. You're free to travel. You can even go for a business or something. What are they trying to do by giving us this right to move freely? They are trying to tell us, they're trying to give us this feeling that India as a country is whole. It's a unit, one unit. So you can go freely anywhere you want because the whole country is one. They're trying to bring that unity feeling into us. All right, to reside and settle in any part of the territory of India. If you want to settle somewhere in any part of India, you're free to do. However, there are some restrictions, like you cannot just go and start living among the tribals and then try to exploit them. So we will learn about them in the class of limitations on the rights, because as I told you in the first class, that the rights are not absolute. There can be some restrictions. Just in the freedom of speech, you are free to say but you have to keep some kind of moral limitations on what you are saying and what kind of words you are using. You cannot use the words that are derogating. Okay, you have to keep certain kind of civilization. Now, right to reside and settle in part of territory is done. The last right to freedom, is right to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade or business. That means you can do what you want to do. You want to be a doctor, you can be a doctor. You want to be an astronaut, you can be an astronaut. You're free to do. You want to be a pilot, you're free to be a pilot. But there are certain requirements, eligibility criteria. It's not like you don't know a thing about medicine, you have never heard about medicine, and next day you declare that, all right, I'm going to be a doctor and I'm going to try in surgery. I'm going to go and operate a person. So you're going to basically chances are that you're probably going to kill that person because you don't know anything about surgery and you don't know anything how to operate or cut open a person and do things like that doctors do, because they have experience, they have certain eligibility criteria. So this means that if you are fulfilling that eligibility criteria, you're free to do any kind of profession. If you have somehow managed to get through the pilot course and now you have earned those certificates and rights, and the training is done and you know how to fly a plane, only then you can be a pilot. I mean, it's not like if you have no idea how a plane works, and then next day you say, all right, I want to be a pilot. You're probably gonna kill many people. I mean, that is not that right. Anyone can see that is wrong. But if you have that license, you have that pilot license, and then you are free to do it. Then no one is gonna stop you because you have that eligibility criteria. You can go and do it. If you have some other license of doing something else, you're free to do that. So, right to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade or business. However, this also means that you cannot do something illegal kind of business. This business should be legal. It's not like you can be a member of a gang that trades in arms illegally or in drugs and other substances. I hope that is self-explanatory. You can understand then what I'm trying to say here, that right to practice any profession, carry on trade, means that the trade or profession or business should be legal and within moral terms. So I hope you learned a lot from this class. 2 rights are done. We will complete the remaining rights in the next class. See you in the next class. I'm going to end class now. Thank you.